Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Icenia campaign. Last time, we did some post-war economic stuff, and now we're going to resume. One of the quicker little openings to an episode I think I've done in a while. But yeah, not much to say. Last episode was pretty straightforward. Hello. I'm not sure what that icon was that popped up there for a moment, but now it's gone, so I'll never know. We are still watching Bana Kalata. We need to keep an eye on next year in September. She's going to turn 16, which means we can quickly marry her and secure for ourselves a spouse, which will be quite important for our future. Working on our tyranny reduction. Not important for this to go super fast. We don't really have any disloyalty problems currently. And the cohort loyalty chance isn't going to be too important given that we do have levies. At least in my experience, that's not an issue. We are working as well on befriending Inimicus with the way that everyone makes friends in the real world. Lots of bribery. So, could give Inimicus a bunch of money from Wisenius's personal money, which would be fine. Or we give him less. We're going to do the most, like I said last episode. Probably better to play it safe with the large amounts of progress here. So, no need to mess around with that. Apologies, I'm a little tired, but I do have a soda here to hopefully wake me up a little bit. So, but this is a pretty low energy little follow-up episode. Friendship with Inimicus. I just paused on this moment by coincidence, but we have befriended Inimicus. Very nice. Probably good to have one of our highest martial characters be a personal friend of Wisenius. Hopefully a lifelong friendship between these two Iceni. Naturally, yes. Very good. Now, good question here is, should I keep my fort maintenance up? Is it potentially fine to bump it down to ignore garrisons? I think that I have talked about this in the past. It's something I've been tempted to do, but I've mostly avoided doing. I think it's probably about time where almost nobody who I border is likely to declare war on me. The one that I'm probably the most concerned about is Aremorican, but I think the AI is going to know that I have more land than just my land in Icenia and Aremorican. I do have obviously my base in Britannia, so I think Aremorican probably isn't going to play around with that. Even though they really dislike me, of course, I've been gaining aggressive expansion in their region or in their sort of local area, so their aggressive expansion malice with me is higher. Oh, something else that I actually did notice between recording sessions that I want to do now is if I were to go ahead and improve opinion with Brigantia 32 over time, very good. Well, 157 plus 32 gets us pretty close to 190, or gets us a lot closer. So I think now's the time to relaunch my friendship with Brigantia efforts. As when I do hit that cap on the improved relations, maybe with a bribe, I could get them over to 190 and start to integrate Brigantia at long last. One effect of this would be to make my Caledonian holdings contiguous with my Britannic holdings, and may herald for Wisenius a new era of northern expansion. The first time, I think, since actually Donwyn, potentially, where northern wars may be on the table, as we do eventually, of course, want to control Caledonia, as that will allow us to form Albion. A very, very long ways away from that, but it is something we need to think about. Ultimately, this territory is mine, and I ought to control it just to be my back line. Anyways, speaking of the back line, I've also got building projects in some of these northern cities, so very good. Looks like the Courts of Law, and I guess just the buildings I started, a bunch of them are done. Very nice. Let's see how this affects the manpower now that we have that training camp there in when to Ignorm. Very good. Out of curiosity, let's check the score and see how we're doing. Looks like we are actually the number 4 nation in the world. This is actually kind of exciting. I have not checked this all game, and I guess I could have checked this on a more momentous moment. Perhaps I should have waited till the 100-year anniversary in about 14 years, but figured I may as well check it now because I did notice this. Looks like we are actually the indeed the number 4 highest ranked nation. Looks like this is because of our really good happiness, our big focus on integrating everybody. That's not really the right word. Assimilating everybody into Iceni culture has led to a much, much higher pop happiness across the board. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Rome is number 1 right now. Maria is the second. That's what I usually would see. Looks like Maria's contemporary Dravidia is the third, and then we're the fourth. We're actually quite a bit above our next competitor, the Bosphorine Kingdom. So, looks like we also have a really strong starting situation divider, to be fair, because our starting situation was pretty small. That's doing a lot of work, I'll admit, because the starting situation divider, it is a division, so if you know how division works in math, the change in number makes a very big difference. So I don't know how this math works out ultimately, but we are doing quite well according to the game, so that's good to see. Always love that. Now, this is progressing. Very good. So, we are just hanging out, gaining our money back, gaining our manpower back, taking it easy. Pretender support. Okay, sure. Not too worried about that. Oh, also, I did check the wiki for a couple things I was thinking about in between sessions, and I did discover that I believe at Civic Advance level 5, we get the ability to make roads. So that's not super far away. We're almost at level 4 currently, so that's kind of exciting. Maybe able to build some roads in our future. Twisting the knife. Wasenius the First Dubicus the Gaul, for reasons known only unto himself, has begun to view Diuiciacus Calatus, what a name, with jealousy and distrust. Even having them in the same room as one another is bound to result in hostility. Troubling. Okay, that's frustrating. Another one of these random events where Wasenius is just antagonizing the local nobility for no reason, but it happens. Here we are. Alright, let's see here. Oh, what's this? Just little characters. Okay, so it is showing all those characters that don't have any power base that I commented on last time. But because they have no power base, this shouldn't be affecting the threshold at all. Do I get anywhere where it shows me the breakdown of the threshold? I guess this is the only place it shows it, so. You're super old, and you're super old, so good chance you're just going today. I could assassinate my rival, which could be interesting, just as something to do, but it's a little out of character for Wasenius, and this character is so old. I'm just going to let him die off on his own. His loyalty is so bad. I'm not going to be able to bribe it because he's or I can bribe him, but I won't be able to really fix this because he is the rival of the ruler, and he's not a government agent, so I can't give him free hands. So it is what it is. I'm not over the threshold yet, so because I'm actually 0% over the threshold. It's just warning me just to look scary, I think. Kind of no purpose. Courts of Law are completing, very good. And we actually, I think, have enough for another building, perhaps. Let's see, where do I want to build my next building? Possibly in Ablania. Ablania does actually have quite a few people living here, so I shouldn't neglect my North Irish province over here, or I guess Northern Hibernian province, to be more accurate. Let's see, you have 2 nobles, 4 citizens. I think starting off with a training camp is probably called for up here. We'll get to an academy and court of law later, but training camp first to really capitalize on the manpower. I think, made a small, but, you know, it added up over time, micro mistake throughout this series by not prioritizing training camps earlier, because they do add a lot of manpower when you put them in those high population cities. Like, for example, we need to get some training camps into Londinium ASAP. And it is almost worth asking, are the 3 academies and the extra courts of law here worth it? Having super happy nobles is nice, but we do only have 6 nobles and 3 citizens. I think I'm going to change course, actually, on this. Even though we can have up to 3 academies, and I guess also 3 courts of law, even though this is the capital, I said before my reasoning for doing it like this, I think I will make some room and instead build up some other buildings here. Namely a training camp and anything else. Or should I just build more training camps, honestly? I mean, we're going to get a lot of manpower, so I'm actually going to build 3 training camps here instead. Or actually, I don't have the money quite yet. Once I have the money, I'll build the next one. So, a bit of a change of course. We're going to turn Londinium into a military center, I suppose, but we're gonna get a lot of manpower from that, and that's gonna help out in the long run in a pretty big way. So making sure you're still a youngster. Yes, you are. Good to see. I'm worried that, because I remember in Crusader Kings 2, at least, I think Crusader Kings 3 is a little better about this, but in CK2, characters would come of age at unusual times. It wasn't consistent, so that always bothered me. Okay. The preeminent Rasula Kalata. Okay, you're the royal tutor. Some say that throughout Britannia there is one constant. The deeds and character of Rasula Kalata precede her. From the villas of the capital to the shabbiest border town. Rasula has risen to great prominence and position as a public servant and aristocrat, and through her legendary private soirees has the ear of everybody worth knowing in Londinium. She could no doubt make a useful domestic ally. Okay, what do we have here? So I could befriend Rasula Kalata, which is the royal tutor. She's super qualified for that, which is great. What does the royal tutor do? Let's remind ourselves. No shame in forgetting these things. This is our monthly civ change character. Once she builds up her statesmanship, this is going to be pretty strong. So I do like this character. I want her to stay around. I'd rather not offend her, ideally. Let's not do this. Well, I guess actually her loyalty is good enough. I could do this, but I don't want her to see me as a rival. That's the thing I care about more. I'm just going to take the popularity hit. That's a shame. This is actually kind of a bad event if you're, yeah. This event might be useful in like an edge case where you're trying to make a character see your ruler as a rival, which I don't know when that would be helpful, but I suppose at some situation it would be. Alright, so we're going to just take the popularity hit. It is what it is. Another thing I looked at between episodes is some, again, planning for the future, long-term colonization prospects. Now, of course, our long-standing tradition as Britannia, sort of like real life, is to... What did I just click on? Trade route map mode. Do I have an... Oh, I have a trade route here. Hold on. Oh. How long have I had this? Okay, I'm glad I clicked this map mode by accident. This isn't what I meant to do. But we're going to trade something in to Demnonia. I guess because we have enough ports here in Olconum to give ourselves a trade route. What do we get in Demnonia here? Probably something just valuable. I don't think there's any need to think about the specific resource because we're not going to get the capital bonus, so it's not as strategically important. Just something super valuable, I think. So dyes is a good option. Local noble happiness is also pretty good. Olconum does have actually quite a large number of nobles living here. Olconum is one of my bigger cities. I'm pretty glad to see Olconum doing so well because this was not a starting capital for anyone. So Olconum is very much a city I've fostered from the ground up, so love to see that. I would also love to get some more training camps in there for sure. I think given that, perhaps getting dyes to boost the happiness of those nobles even more could be quite nice for extra research points. Or another valuable one like spices. What does spices give me? Come on, let's see the citizen happiness. Alconum does have more nobles than citizens, weirdly. Again, my lack of citizens is kind of bizarre. Alright, let's go ahead and get dyes, I think, in Olconum. Looks like we're going to trade with Carthage, as usual. And by the way, something I haven't really talked about so far, but something in the background I've been thinking. One of the reasons I've made so many plans to eventually fight Rome and not Carthage, despite Carthage being closer to me and a more obvious rival than Rome in some ways, is because Carthage is my main trading partner. I don't know if you remember, but basically all of my, all of the trades that I have imports coming in are almost all from Carthage, vast majority. So Carthage has a very resource-rich economy, so they're a very good trade partner because they're spread across many different biomes. Rome, obviously, they also are going to have lots of trade goods, but I think Rome is generally a little bit more hostile as an AI than Carthage is. I guess I'm not sure about that. I may be just pulling this out of nowhere if the AIs even have those sorts of differences, but I don't know. I'd rather be antagonistic towards Rome because I'm more scared of them snowballing than I am of Carthage because they have the mission trees to head into Gaul, which is my territory. I just haven't claimed it yet. So they're going to be a more natural rival. Like 100 years down the line, there's going to be conflict, so whatever I do to avoid it or not. Fortress in Namnetum is complete. Very good. Now, I actually did build a city here. I kind of forgot that I already had a city set up here. So we can invest here in Nemnetum, although not currently because we don't have any money, but we will be able to pretty soon. I really blew through my money really quick, but yeah, when you focus on infrastructure, you get through it real quick for sure. Okay, so about 1 year away until Bana supposedly will come of age. I actually didn't even finish talking about fort maintenance. I think I just let like a year go by without addressing it, but I think I will go ahead and ignore the garrisons for minus 15% maintenance. These modifiers are, of course, intentionally really unbalanced, so it's not actually very balanced. If you're trying to get the best efficiency from your forts, since you have to pay them no matter what, ignoring the garrisons is such a huge malice for not much of a reduction in cost. But because we're not at war, I think I can probably get away with ignoring the garrisons. Let's watch our balance bump up because I have a lot of forts in my nation. There we go. We have a couple extra gold per month. So this is a little risky, and I am playing it a little risky here by doing it. I said risky twice there. I am playing it in a risky way by doing it like this, but I'm pretty confident that no one will declare war on me. In fact, I'm not sure anyone ever has in the series, to be honest. I don't know what circumstance that might happen now for me, given my power, so we'll keep an eye on that. We are, of course, a major power, so unlikely for anyone who's below that rank to attack me like that. I guess Aremorican, they're a regional power, not a major power, so I may be safe from Aremorican. I should have checked the wiki about this specific point before starting this recording. I can't really check now, of course, about whether the AI will attack up the rank of its powers. I guess in real history, lots and lots and lots of people attacked Rome who were smaller than Rome. Also, I think Rome just conquered some stuff over here in Pannonia. Did they have this before? I'm not sure if they did. Okay. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to chance it. And in fact, while I'm looking at the budget screen, do I change my wage situation? We are going to keep this like that. Commerce, we're going to keep on free trade because, of course, we have a lot of exports, not that many imports. Taxes, frankly, it might even be worth switching to lax taxes. Yes, 50% reduced national tax. Well, actually, hold on. That might be pretty crazy, because we do get 17 gold. So yes, even though we're not a tax-themed economy, about half of our economy is from taxes, so cutting that in half would be pretty substantial. Pop happiness is pretty big. 10% across the board is very, very strong. But I don't know if I can quite justify, especially when I'm cutting my fort maintenance to just get 2 gold. Probably don't want to push it like that. That would be really strong, though, for like a city-state. There's a lot of ways that smaller nations can take advantage of these policies and laws in a really interesting way. When you play as a bigger nation, everything kind of gets more evened out. But over on the wages side, should I be messing around with this right now? Let's take a look at our corruption situation and see how things are looking. Oh, let's stick to own nation, please. Okay, so our worst corruptors, or our worst corrupted characters are people like Demona Orgatora, who we are familiar with for having these problems. What kind of wage are we paying you? Anything? Are you in government? No, so her high corruption isn't going to be an issue because we're not paying her anything. Where are we? Let me check my sheet here. Yeah, we're only paying our governors and whatnots, and our government officials. So it's like Diana DeWico is currently getting the most. Although Chancellor is a high up position, so it kind of makes sense that she'd be paid quite a bit. Your corruption is pretty bad. So, what do we do about this? Anything at all? I do like you as the Chancellor, but I would save some money by switching to a less corrupt character. You are getting on the old side. You do have really good statesmanship, though, and that impact on aggressive expansion change is quite nice right now. So I don't think I want to cut my aggressive expansion reduction in half just to reduce... how much would I save even? I'd probably be saving like half a gold or 1 gold per month. But I'd be having my aggressive expansion reduction, which I care more about, frankly, than that. So let's not do that. Anybody else with really bad corruption? So there's Ariana Had. You have kind of bad corruption. You've got really good statesmanship, though, too, because you're quite a veteran character. National tax 11. Oof, that'd be tough to justify getting rid of, so let's keep you around. Your loyalty is bad. You're the physician. I think I'm going to replace you. That's going to reduce your loyalty even more to replace you. I think I might replace you with no. Your Buit Calatus's corruption is too high. We've dealt with you before. Uh, Talorc Calatus, 8 finesse. You have what do you have? 10 finesse. You're pretty loyal. Well, a lot of content families, I'm noticing. We'd be getting... Oh, actually, hold on. Do we have... how many DWKI do we have in office right now before we switch that? Let's check this. Yeah, we can't remove a DWKI right now. That's unfortunate. We'll just have to wait. I could bribe to get your loyalty up. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. We're going to leave wages probably just as they are. No need to mess around with that. Aremorican Civil War ends. Okay, we've read this event before. We know what's going on. So Aremorica beat the incredibly powerful forces of the single tile of Burgess. I don't know how they did it, but I am proud of them for that one. Civic advances, population capacity, and global monthly food modifier. Love to see it. And let's see here. Can I see what the next one gets me? Maybe not. So the wiki said that level 5 civic advances give me the right or the ability to build roads. I don't know if that's true because the wiki isn't up to date, which is lovely for me. Yeah, we'll see. So this would unlock the Great Temple city building, which could be interesting. What would that do for us? Great Temple. Lots of provincial loyalty. We need one. We can only have one of these in any given territory. Local civ level plus 5% and 2 pop speed. The pop conversion speed is not pop speed. The pop conversion speed is not super important. The provincial loyalty could be quite good, so we could build great temples in problem areas where there are cities. State, religion, happiness. I guess this is actually quite good because all of our people in our core are all druidic, so at least we get the state, religion, happiness from that. So that would turn into a lot of output, or what's it called? Not output. What is it called? Hold on. It is called output. What am I talking about? All right, so Great Temple would be good in that regard. Ooh, Foundry is really good. Blacksmith Apprentices. Policy law. Okay, there's some interesting stuff for sure in the religious tree. I think this is... So every time I do these recording sessions, I think, oh, I should have done this between episodes. I should have looked to see what the different things are between episodes, because we're approaching a couple more progresses. I think after this episode, I'll look at that a bit more closely and plan some stuff out. Okay, so, let's see. Change governor policy cost. It might be time, honestly, to grab this, because I am thinking of changing a bunch of policies across my nation as my political influence ramps back up, so I think it is probably worth grabbing this now ahead of time. Also, grabbing this before I do any assassinations is probably smart too. So let's just grab centralized committees. I think there is probably pretty important stuff. I mean, like I've said before, all of these techs are quite good. Like these, like the one mechanical area of this game that I unequivocally think they did really well for what this game is the tech tree and the technology system. I really like the way it works. It feels like a really genuine kind of RPG element they've pulled off correctly. So let's grab centralized committees. Standardizing the bureaucratic tools of our governors by providing them with competent assistance will improve the effectiveness of local government by cutting inefficiency. All right, grab that. And now let's go ahead and, because we do, have, if we look at our population here, even though, we're majority a Kenny, I need to remember that this big name doesn't reflect the diversity within all these different tiles. So yes, the settlement tiles are going to just be a Kenny, but our cities and some of our bigger settlements, like this one is weirdly a very big settlement, Cinemagus. We have a lot of non-Kenny all over the place. A lot of the slaves aren't a Kenny either. And I would rather have a Kenny slaves than... I guess it doesn't matter that much because a Kenny and non-Kenny slaves are both going to be at the minimum happiness basically always. But I also saw in the wiki, and this is something I didn't know, that's good to know, is that slave happiness doesn't affect their output, which is the way happiness affects every other type except for slaves. But it does still affect their unrest generated. So I'm not worried about unrest, for example, out of Wectus, because the unrest, I think, only affects the provincial loyalty. and nothing else local. I guess let's see what it does locally. It does affect things like migration speed and demotion, but yeah, nothing else. So, I mean, it does affect loyalty, but it doesn't affect it that much for up here. Yeah, because it's only minus 0.03. I think like 10 episodes ago or so, I had a rant about how this number and this and hold on, oh my gosh, please, how this number, and this number, and oh my gosh. Okay, I can't scroll up to it, but how all these numbers how they work together is not clear, basically. Okay, what was I just doing? I was deciding on, what was I just doing? Oh yeah, I was deciding on, oh yeah, no, governor policies. Oh my gosh, wow, my brain just ceased to work for a moment. All right, so I think we're gonna switch things back over. It's now down to 7, so that's quite nice. Let's switch over in our capital first. Any reason, though, to not do cultural assimilation here and take advantage of our permanent 100 loyalty to do something like bleed them dry? Well, you know, since we are on encourage trades, that's 7.5% province commerce. But we do have a tax base here, right? We do have a tax base here. It is something, especially in some of our mines and our, yeah. So we do have a tax base. So bleed them dry would give us a lot of money from those taxes. And there basically wouldn't be any other problems here because we have basically maxed food, we have maxed loyalty and all that. I think the maxed food, by the way, improves our growth to have extra food. But I don't know for sure how this works. This is an area of the settlement meta that I haven't really looked into that closely, is how food works, because I've never basically at any point ever playing this game had issues with food. I don't know if I'm just not like paying attention to this mechanic very closely, or if this is a late game mechanic that I just sort of don't understand. That's what it is, but I've never had problems with food and like extra food from wheat and whatnot. It's never been an issue. Maybe once I have like much bigger like populations everywhere, it'll be more of a problem. But I've always had max food basically everywhere. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what your experience is with the food mechanic, because for me it's been essentially a non-mechanic. Okay. Anything else interesting around here? Honestly, I mean, the benefit of cultural assimilation is just to ensure any stray populations that aren't Iceni are being switched over. But I don't think I need to focus on that when I can get away with bleed them dry. I think bleed them dry is better than cultural assimilation in the very specific case of a loyalty locked location like the provincial capital province. So let's go ahead and switch it over to bleed them dry. Let's see how this affects the money. So 4.40, 4.45. Well, is 0.5 then worth not converting culture? I think because I'm building mines and like improving the infrastructure for tax base, it is going to get a little better. So let's not overthink this too hard. Let's just continue with that for now. And then we'll switch everything else over to cultural assimilation, including maybe Hibernia, Septem Trientalis, though your loyalty is not super secure quite yet. What's the population type around here? It is a Hibernian. Oh yeah, let's go over to the culture thing for Hibernian. Where's my Hibernian culture group at? It's not here somewhere. Here it is. I think I want to boost the Hibernian culture happiness a little bit more so I can start to switch over this province to cultural assimilation. Kind of a weird roundabout way of doing it. I do actually have positive stability, so it might be a good time when I am over 50 stability to do one of these decisions. I've already given them right of inheritance. What else could I go for here? 36 months with minus 3% integrated is okay. Cultural integration speed. It's 10%. That's fine. I'm not going to culturally integrate them. Cultural happiness 6%. Oh, also it'll boost the loyalty here. Okay. Actually, I might be able to boost the loyalty of these provinces down here through these culture events. What culture are they? They're Aremorican culture. All right, we'll get back to that in a moment. But I think it is, and then extra cultural freeman output. I don't know how many freemen. I guess we can actually see here how many freemen they have. We do have 8 Hibernian freemen, so there is something there. But then we also have tons of slaves. But then slave happiness will just affect unrest. But then if I do that, if I'm doing this to try and reduce the unrest in Hibernia Septentriontalis, if I add more unrest from the slave, I think I'm overthinking this. I think 8% slave happiness won't equal the unrest I'll lose from making them happier. Although actually, hold on, this isn't affecting their happiness. This is just affecting. Okay, so this actually isn't the best option. Wait, no, I was looking at the wrong one. So these are both super similar. So this one is the Freeman output one. This one is the happiness one. And I would prefer to do this one. This one, pop assimilation speed, 10%. That's pretty handy if I'm going to switch things over there to pop assimilation. Extended right of intermarriage. So that gives me 5 years of 6% reduced happiness in all Icenia, which may not be justifiable. But that being said, although 10 stability though, I'm not so sure about that one. I think since stability is on the line, I think focusing on Hibernia is maybe a little premature. Let's actually head over to Aremorican, which is thankfully right here. There's actually a lot more Aremoricans than there are Hibernians. This is actually a pretty populous area. I haven't really noticed this, but because Aremorican is a very widespread culture group all over the place here, so these effects will have a bigger effect. That's language that I just spoke there. Yes, indeed. Okay, one thing I could do to get more citizens is to actually change the civic rights of some of my minorities to let them become citizens. But then that'd be integrating them, which I have so far not wanted to do. But I've also said that I might want to integrate some of the Gallic peoples because it's harder to assimilate them. So okay, here's what I'm thinking. Instead of trying to play the assimilation game with these pesky, angry Gauls, I think I might just integrate them. Honestly. But then again, like, do I want to wait till I have a bigger group that I have a huge population with? I noticed, by the way, that the Romans have not really focused at all on cultural assimilation anywhere, so their levies are going to be pretty small. We probably have one of the biggest, like, single national cultural populations of any nation because of our approach we've done. So I looked at this like 20-something episodes ago. I don't remember exactly what this entails. So let's look again. Aremorican. This is the right one, right? Aremorican. Let's see here. Aremorican. Okay, this is the right one. These guys, by the way, are not pleased at all. So this is contributing to the problems down here. Let's stabilize things a little bit here. So we could start off by doing something like this. That would really help loyalty, actually, in some of those problem provinces. Venetia and Ossimia especially, it looks like. Okay. It looks like it might be weighted. I'm actually not sure how the individual province loyalty boost is calculated. I guess it's based on Aremorican presence, which makes sense. So I could do this. I would get, let's see here, 3 years of unhappy citizens nationwide. That's okay. I'm willing to take that. That's a lot better than 3 years of Icenia unhappiness, because that affects nobles, and more critically, freemen, where my manpower is coming from. Lose 5 stability to get lots of loyalty in those places, which seems like a pretty good deal. Or bite the bullet and actually do some integration. And, okay, I think this would end the colonial occupation thing. I don't know if my colony stops being a colony. I actually don't mind if this stops being a colony as long as the people don't leave. Like, I just wanted to populate it with Icenia pops. I don't need it to have the colony modifier. I think this stays forever, though, even if I do integrate them. So let's go back to that. Hope you like looking at all these little menu screens, by the way. Sorry, not a very action-filled couple episodes here, but this is important stuff. This almost matters more than the wars for the development of this game here. Right, Aremorican. Alternatively, I could do something like rate of intermarriage, but then again, like, many integrated cultures do I currently get to have? Where do I see this? Maybe when I click the option, it'll tell me about that. Okay, here's what it says. So it costs 5 political influence, which is actually not very much. Give them equal rights to our primary culture. Protect them from assimilation. Once started, the integration process cannot be stopped. It gives us the stability problems. That's fine. I don't think. I mean, let's look at it in sort of in the sense of how big the population is. Aremorican is the biggest minority in my country because I've just conquered essentially all the Aremorican territory is within my conquests, right? So this is one of the biggest minorities I think I've ever had. So this would make for a very natural integration target, because otherwise I'd have to very slowly and painfully assimilate them. And if I want this to be, well, it's really tough to say, because then if they're protected from assimilation, I'll never be able to roll them into the baseline Icenia, modifiers. I think if they weren't in an area I'm planning to have be my long-term core, but then again, if I'm always thinking long-term like this, I'm not taking advantage of a really clear instance where integrating makes sense. They're twice the size of my next to largest minority. They're really unhappy. This area's been a problem for me. If I just integrated them, I would get a lot of happiness with them. But then it's only 5%. I think I can boost their happiness enough without integrating them, which is what I care about more. Like, I just need this area to be happier. I don't need them to be integrated as a mechanic. So I think even with this huge number, I'm just going to gradually transition these places out of harsh treatment into local autonomy and then into cultural assimilation as happiness allows. So I think what I'll do instead is I'm going to go ahead and give them some good decisions that they'll like. So for example, I think intermarriage, this is too early because I'm not going to take advantage of the pop assimilation speed while it's happening, so let's not do that one yet. This one, culture happiness matters to me a lot more right now than cultural Freeman output. This one's also culture happiness. But this one has the worst malice to my entire Icenia happiness versus just citizen happiness. So which one do I want to do instead? The effects on loyalty for the provinces are the same. This also does affect cultural slave output. I think I'll go for right of inheritance first. Okay, by guaranteeing the right of inheritance for culture, we are ensuring that the family fortunes of its members are not squandered or usurped by the citizens of our country. There we go. Okay, so we've done that. Now they're at 10% culture happiness. Now, also the other thing to note is that this will go away in a couple years. So the minus 5%, that will go away. That'll help things a lot too. Okay, so now let's go back over to the actual locations. So this is up to 37. And it looks as though that's also affected the rate per month. I'm not sure if it was that high before, but that's good to see. We still can't switch this over until we're at 50, which is frustrating. Let's see here. But I think these are now not disloyal provinces, so we can go ahead and do things like destroy this fortress in Sulis and destroy this fortress over here, and generally like do things in these provinces. Also, I should note, we do have the precious metals down here. We can move slaves over to now. Which I think we will do. Can move more from Namnetum. I think I will as well. We may lose the extra hemp Namnetum is producing, but that's fine. I'd rather produce more precious metals. What do I need for precious metals here? -5. I'll need 12? But didn't I do this before? I think I did this for a different location, not this one. Right. Slave promotion is not allowed. Don't even think about it. Alright, I need 12 here, so let's bring one over from... one more from Namnetum. Namnetum had a really big slave population for some reason. I guess they all were... I guess it kind of makes sense why they were gathering in Namnetum. And then in a couple months, I'll build a mine here. Alright. Oh, also, while I'm looking at this, I might be able to build it immediately if I do some location destruction. Sounds kind of ominous. If I do some building destruction is what I mean to say. Slave estate, I probably can't justify that one, so let's get rid of that. Slave estates are fine, they're not like a bad building. When I say bad building, I mean an inefficient building. But I'd rather have a mine than a slave estate, so we'll give it another month or so. So this episode will end up not even reaching Bana coming of age, because we've done a lot of economic stuff this episode. But some good... This has kind of been sort of a summary episode of our economic state here. We've also boosted our treasury. That's the thing, too, is whenever I have one of these economic episodes, the sign that I've done things well is the episode ends with a better income than we started with. That's the sign that I've used this episode wisely. Let's build a mine here. And I think most critically, we've stabilized the loyalty situations over here. That's what really matters the most. Let's give it 1 more month so we can switch one of these. If we can, I do want to switch this one here so we don't have that minus 36% population output. I think we can get away with switching it to local autonomy as well. I guess we'll see what happens there. And let's go ahead and switch this. We will get some tyranny, but that's fine. Switch it over to local autonomy. All right, fingers crossed that, well, ooh, 0.07. It's not quite as good as this one over here. That's at 0.14. Condate Redonum is the big problem location. What's going on over here? There's just a lot of people. Oh yeah, this used to be a capital, so there's a lot of people who live here. They'll leave eventually, I think. We have just a lot of angry nobles. What are you even doing there? Get out of here. Get demoted. Once these nobles and citizens demote, because these populations aren't allowed to have citizens or nobles, so they're really, really unhappy. Once they demote into freemen, the happiness problems do sort out. That's one of the ways the happiness stabilizes over time. I think it is worth switching it over to local autonomy. Well, I guess the happiness, and then what does this give us? This just gives us straight provincial loyalty. I think I'd rather be getting happiness than getting straight provincial loyalty and just hope that things will improve pretty soon. Okay, minus 0.11 is okay. This is doable. I wouldn't switch from local autonomy to harsh treatment because of minus 0.11. So this is, even though things are now back to looking bad, this is stabilized in my opinion. Plus we now have a mine being built here, so this will be profitable in a moment. Over here, this will probably be pretty fair to switch over as well. But that's going to happen next time. Thank you for watching this very non-forward-moving episode of more economic stuff with Misadventurer here in the Icenia campaign. But this episode, we did manage to get a lot of important economic advancements done. Not literal advancements, but conceptual advancements. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.